Howdy everyone, and welcome back to Wannabe LetterBoxd with me, your host, Fabiana Rosario. And today, drumroll please, ladies and gentlemen, we will be diving into one of the most talked about films this awards season, and that is Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet, Odessa, and features a performance by Tyler, the Creator, as well as is directed by Safdie. So, honestly, this movie is very jam-packed. It's very chaotic. It honestly just feels like you're on a high of adrenaline the entire time you're watching the film. It reminds me a lot of Uncut Gems. I feel like it's just a fast-pacing chaos and just a character who wants success so bad they're driving themselves to, like, not madness, but, like, a little bit of insanity. Here we go. And, yeah, it's basically, the film really touches on ambition. Like, huge. The biggest theme of the film is ambition and, like, what you will do for your own success. So, yeah, and today's episode is going to be interesting because we will be talking about the real-life controversy that definitely shifted its performance at the Oscars. So, let's get into it. First off, the film was directed by Josh Safdie, so it's basically high-energy sports drama set in 1950s in New York, and it's basically following this hustler tennis table player, otherwise known as ping pong player, who's chasing greatness. And yeah, it sounds like a rather interesting film, but it's more of like a character study wrapped in pure and utter chaos, of course. Timothée Chalamet is Marty, and definitely it is one of the most talked about performances of his career, but it's definitely the most energized, electric, and it kind of steers away from his typical, I feel like, sad boy films that he usually does. So it kind of streams more mainstream and a completely different performance from him, I feel. So critics called it one of the most colossal performances of the 21st century, and it's definitely not an exaggeration when talking about Timothy in this film. He obviously garnered a whole lot of nominations, and he snagged himself some awards as well, which obviously are deserved. My opinion was that he needs an Oscar. Timothée Chalamet is an excellent actor. However, I do not think it should be for this film. I do think he has other performances that are much more moving and much more him, if that makes sense. Obviously, he's playing a character in this film, but this film as a whole, I feel like it just didn't sit with me the way that it sit with a lot of other people. So enjoyed it, but again, not my personal favorite of his. And yeah, the supporting cast as well. Gwyneth Paltrow, I forgot to mention, she's also in this film, and Odessa A'zion. Amazing women. Odessa, really breakthrough star of this film. I feel like she truly, like, made her name for herself with this movie, and I've loved her since her show on Netflix called Grand Army. So I was really happy to see her in this and see her get recognized for it as well. So yeah. Now, as for themes of this film, definitely the battle between ambition and morality, or like your morals. So Marty is obsessed with being great and success and wanting to be the greats and all this business and being remembered. Honestly, it's not even just about him winning these tournaments, it's about him being remembered and his legacy. So, yeah, the film asks the question of what is the cost of being the best? What is the cost of having this much ambition? So yeah, definitely there's also a deeper theme of chaos versus control. So the film is very fast-paced and it's chaotic and it's messy almost, but it's definitely, again, I feel like a character study of Marty himself. It's very much from his perspective, I guess. The film just really, I guess, channels him and his energy, I feel like. So when he's going through chaos, the camera work, you feel like you're about to, like, die a little bit. But yeah, so that's definitely, I feel like, the themes of the film. It's definitely just mainly about ambition and, like, the morals, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like it's a really interesting thing to think about, just about, like, what it does cost to be the best and how you performing to be the best can impact your own identity, you know? And let's talk about impact also about this film, because it was A24's huge film. It pulled in around, I think, almost $180 million worldwide, and critically, obviously, it was wildly recognized, a bunch of Oscar nominations, but Unfortunately, it walked away with nothing this season, which is where things I feel like get a little interesting. So, Timothée Chalamet made a comment right before the Oscars talking about ballet and opera and how he didn't want film to become like ballet and opera, implying that the art forms are fading and are dying and that no one cares about them anymore, to quote him. And that obviously did not go over well. It's definitely a shift from what we know from Timothée Chalamet, and how he's spoken about art. I feel like, I'm pretty sure he's quoted that the world without art is just a rock. So it's definitely, I feel like, a different shift for him, and I do think it did hurt his chance at the Oscars. So the controversy followed the film as well as him. The host joked about it, and yeah, he definitely, the film walked away with nothing, which is honestly a little bit shocking considering how well it was doing at previous award ceremonies. So now, I feel like to end the episode, I feel like we should talk about how ironic this controversy is. Marty Supreme is literally about a guy whose ambition gets him, but pushes people away. And Timothée Chalamet, as Marty Supreme, of course, I think it's really funny that he made a comment that in his ambition and drive for success has kind of bit him in the butt. And it's very interesting. It kind of blurred the line between actor and character that you honestly don't usually see, especially from Timothée Chalamet. So it's definitely interesting. But overall, Marty Supreme is one of the films that I feel like you walk away remembering, and you walk away sweating a little bit and panicked. Your heart rate will be elevated. But performance-wise, I mean, give the cast its flowers. The movie is very strong, and there's a reason it gained a lot of Oscar nominations. Thematically, it is messy, but it is deep. It talks about ambition, morality, the battle between the two, and culturally, it definitely made some noise, definitely ruffled some feathers, which honestly could be a good thing for its future legacy. But yeah, even though it didn't win big at the Oscars, it might end up being one of the more remembered films of the year. So, my episode for next week, we are going to be watching, drumroll please, what have I not seen yet? Okay, drumroll please, we'll be watching The Secret Agent. So, I'm excited about that, and I can't wait to let y'all know my thoughts on it.